This conference will now be recorded.
So all of you joined because to learn the machine learning using Python. So in this entire Python session, it is separated into 9 days. For example, first day to 9 days, every day we have to attend. We have to work on the machine learning every day 2 hours from evening 4 to evening 6. So what we learn in the first day? In day 1, we can verify introduction to the machine learning and vocabulary of the pandas. Again, introduction to machine learning, what we learn? What is the machine learning? What is the types of machine learning? What are the algorithms? How to manipulate the data in this pandas? That is, we have to learn in today's session. In next day, what we learn second day? Second day, we learn about the sklearn packages, linear regression concept, and remaining third day, we can verify the polynomial regression. Fourth day, you learn them with classification models. What are the algorithms there? How to apply these algorithms to the different types of data sets. That is worked on the fourth day. Fifth day, there is advanced concept of classification models. That is logistic regression, supervised learning, support vector machines. We can explore all those things. If you want to see the syllabus in the same GitHub repository, you can access the complete syllabus. Okay. Now we will start the today's session, that is introduction to machine learning. Anyone know about what is machine learning? You can post it in the chat box. What is meant by machine learning? Anyone tell me if you have any knowledge?
It's like training a machine.
Training a machine to give accurate results. Okay.
Training the machine based on the past data and predicting the
Yes,
new.
training the machine, whatever the data we have previously, we have to train the model with the past data. Code for machines. Okay. So there are different types of definitions available. We will check what is meant by machine learning. In definition point of view, we can verify what are the classifications in this machine learning one by one. Okay. What is meant by machine learning? So machine learning is the study of computer algorithms that improves automatically through experience. What it means? Machine learning simply it is the study of computer algorithms. Means there are some existing algorithms are there. We can provide the algorithm with the data. With this data and algorithm, machine can able to understand the process what it is happening. It can try to predict the future. Based on the past experience, it can try to predict the future. Okay, that is the simple definition about the machine learning. Now, if you coming to the types of machine, if you coming to the what is the difference between classical programming and machine learning programming? If you see this figure, in general classical programming, we just give the data and formula. It will give the output as the result. If you take the example, here I given the values as, for example, I'm giving the data as 10, 20, 10, 20, for example. In this formula, I'm giving a plus b. Now tell me what is the result we will get. I given the data as 10, 20. I given the rule or formula as a plus b. What is the output we will get? 30. That is a general classical programming. But in machine learning programming, generally, we provide the entire input. The input related output we can provide. Based on this output, machine can able to understand the pattern. That is the rule it can predict. For example, here I can give the 10 and 20. I can give the output also. That is, for example, 30 here. The input data I am providing 10, 20. Output as 30. What is the possible ways of getting the output 30 from 10, 20? By adding the value a plus b or x plus y. It will provide you the formula. That is the pattern it can provide. That is the difference between the classical programming and machine learning. In general programming, you can provide the data as well as the formula. It will provide the output. But in machine learning, we can provide the data. That is the past data and past data related outputs. It can provide you the rules. Okay, we will check one by one. Okay. Now, again, machine learning converted into three types generally. One is supervised learning, another one is unsupervised learning, Next one is the reinforcement learning. Can anyone tell me what is meant by supervised learning? Anyone know? What is supervised learning?
Providing both
In general
input
point
and
of view, you can
output.
say providing input, both input and output, train the machine with this data. That is the
Having
one thing.
And
class
output
labels.
with this data.
It's a labeled
Having-
data. We are giving a labeled data to the
It is
machine.
the labeled data. Yes, we can provide labeled data.
To the machine. And
Yes.
we are training the
So data
machine
is
by
labeled
using
as
the labeled
supervised
data.
learning.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, that is a supervised learning. So in definition point of view, we can understand that supervised learning is the machine learning task of learning a function. It can learn a one output function that maps the given input to the output we are provided. Based on that input output example, it can try to figure out the function. We can provide the input data, the data related output also. It can try to predict the function which is mapping the input and output. That is the supervised learning. Again, in this supervised learning, it is classified into two types. One is classification, another one is regression. What is classification? For example, you have to predict the coming to the classification, you have to predict the different types of categories. Generally, the target values are discrete classes. Okay, here, for example, you have to predict whether the person has cancer or not. Okay, what is the possible output we can say? If I say the person has cancer or not, what is the possible targets or the outputs? Either we can say the person has cancer, we can say yes or no. There are only two possible ways. Or we can say true or false, or we can say 1 or 0. So here target values are discrete. Here target values are discrete classes. It is related to the classification. Okay. So in classification, target values are discrete. It may be 1 or 0. It may be yes or no. It may be true or false. It may be multiple target classes. Generally, 1 or 0 means binary classification. Here possible outputs are 2. But in real time, not only binary classification, multi-class classification also there. So we will check one by one. Now coming to the regression. Okay, the second type of the supervised learning is the regression. So in classification target values, we are saying that it is a discrete class. In regression, target values are continuous values. For example, I want to predict the price of the house. What is the possible output? Either 10 lakhs, 10.5 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, 40.5 lakhs. There is no fixed value. The values are continuous. Likewise, student marks also. Example, for the regression problem, we can say different examples. One is student marks. We have to predict. Either we have to predict the temperature, either we have to predict the house price. Likewise, this is the second type in the supervised learning. So first one is the classification, second one is the regression. All of you clear? Anyone has any doubts till now? You can post it in chat box. Tejaswini requesting that okay, anyone has any doubts in the middle of the session, you can post it in the chat box instead of saying in the talking with me, or I will give you the time. You have to clarify the doubts. Okay, in that situation only you can talk with me. Okay. So this is the supervised learning. Coming to the next one. What is the next type in machine learning? That is unsupervised learning. So before directly going to the unsupervised learning, what is the real-time few examples for the supervised learning? For this purpose, I'm showing one picture. So this is the trainer or the teacher in our classroom generally. This is the student want to learn something. Here teacher trying to train the student by providing the input image and by saying the output also. Here image is the input. This is the output label we can say. Here teacher what he does, teacher trying to show the picture to the student. In machines, we can say machines. Okay, we can provide the input data as well as the output data to the student. What he does, he try to figure out the features of this image and make a note of the image in the format of it is the duck. Now coming to the next image, what is the teacher saying next time? Here also teacher was showing another possibility of the duck image. Previously it is white color duck, now it is another color of the duck. Again, teacher was trying to train the student by providing the another image of the duck, as well as teacher directly showing the input data as well as the output label duck. Now also student can learn the different possibilities of the duck. Okay, next one, another possibility of the duck also, student giving the data to the teacher giving the data to the student try to recognize the pattern in this input figure. Okay, now till now we just train the student by providing the different images of the duck. Now it is our responsibility to verify whether the machine or the student properly recognizing the duck or not by conducting the simple exam we can say. Okay, now in this situation, teacher showing the some image and asking the student what it is. Okay, teacher showing the duck image, instead of directly saying it is the duck, but just a teacher asking the question, can you please predict what it is? Now can anyone tell me what is student try to answer? What is the answer for this figure?
Duck.
So student previously experienced the possible features of the duck. With this experience, for this image, student able to predict the figure, that is the figure showing it is the duck. Now student predict the duck. Now instead of directly showing the duck image, what happens if you show another image of the duck? Okay, other than duck. Now again teacher showing another image of the duck image, again asking whether what it is. Again student also able to recognize it is duck. Now student also duck. Now coming to the next image. What is the image showing here? Can anyone tell me what is the image showing?
Penguin.
Penguin. Now what happens? Teacher showing the penguin image, but asking the question, is it a duck? Now can anyone tell me this student learn about the penguin? This student only learned about the duck only, but here figure was showing penguin. In this situation, what student can answer? No, it is not duck. It cannot. Student cannot directly say it is penguin. Why? Because she don't know about penguin. But she recognized that it is not the duck. That's why she can say it is not duck. Okay. That is the supervised learning. In training phase, we can provide the input data and output labels also. In testing phase, we can provide only input and observe the performance of the student by checking the outputs. Same thing will be happen in the machine learning programming also. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that is clear. Okay. Now, what is the output? She can try to figure out that she is saying that student saying that it is not the duck. That's why she was thinking about no, it is not the duck. Now, unsupervised learning. Okay, what is meant by unsupervised learning? In previous example, in supervised learning, we are providing the input data as well as the output labels. We are providing in supervised learning, if you observe this image, here teacher provide you the input data and output label also. Here output label is the arrow symbol I'm showing. Arrow symbol, this that is the output label. In unsupervised learning, we cannot provide the output labels. We can just provide the input data. We cannot provide any output labels. So unsupervised learning means it is no labels are given to the learning algorithm. Leave it to learn its own to find out this structure. What it means, we can just give the input data. Can you please find out any structure in this entire data? We can say. In this unsupervised learning, it is categorized into two types. One is clustering, another one is dimensionality reduction. Okay, we will discuss all the clustering and dimensionality reduction in the coming sessions. So try to understand the unsupervised learning, how it is happen. So left side, I'm showing the 4 images. This is the input data giving to this student. Okay, what is the 4 images? One is duck, second image is the penguin, third image is the duck, fourth image is the duck. Now we just give the input data to the student. We are not saying this is duck, second one is penguin, third one is duck, and fourth one is duck. We are not saying directly to the student. We just provide the input data. With this input data, student can identify the different categories and categorize the entire data into something else. For example, this one. If you provide the 4 images to the student can separate the entire data into 2 groups. For example, first group related to first image, third image, fourth image. Second group related to penguin group. Okay, what happens here? We just separated the entire data into 2 groups. That is the thing happen in the unsupervised learning. We can group the similar data. Okay, we can say in unsupervised learning we can group the similar data. Once again say okay. So unsupervised learning means generally we just give the entire data, only input data. We skip the output data. We cannot provide any output data. By providing only input data, the machine can understand something and categorize the entire data into different clusters. We can say clusters are the groups. For example, here I am giving the 4 inputs data. For example, duck image, penguin image, duck image, duck image. Okay, 3 ducks, 1 penguin. I'm not saying directly this is the duck, this is the penguin to the student. I just give the pictures of these images. What student can try to understand? For example, if you see this example, with this example, student can categorize the entire data with the first image, third image, fourth image are the similar to each one. That's why it is related to one group, that is the group 1. For example, the second image, that is penguin, not related to the first image. There is no nearest features. That's why it is going to another group. That is the thing happen in unsupervised learning. Is it clear for you? Unsupervised learning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Karthik asking that applications of supervised and unsupervised. We will tell you one by one. After completing the slides, you will get all those things. Okay. Generally, in unsupervised learning, we just do the clustering. Clustering means grouping the entire data into some type of groups. Like this is the simple example to understand. This is the one group, this is the second group. We just separated the entire data into different clusters. Okay. So we can dig into the unsupervised learning in coming sessions. We will discuss like again. So reinforcement learning. So generally reinforcement learning means, so according to the definition, a computer program interacts with the dynamic environment in which it must perform a certain goal. What it means? A computer program directly interacts with the dynamic environment. It can perform a certain type of goal. In this situation, it can interact with the environment based on the feedback from the environment. Based on that, it can take the steps. So if you see the reinforcement example, anyone listen about the self-driving cars? Self-driving cars is the word all of you listen.
Yes, sir.
I hope.
Yeah, Tesla self-driving cars.
Self-driving cars generally. I will show you the image.
Yes, sir.
Wait a second, I'm opening the image. Now, if you see the figure, this is the simple self-driving car example. So this is the actual car. It is a self-driving car. In this situation, what happens here? The driving car not only responsible to driving the road, its responsible is to capture the environment. What is the status in the nearest environment? Take the decisions according to the environment. For example, here car was moving. Unfortunately, one more car is came to the in front of the present self-driving car. What it does, it can identify the objects before the self-driving car and apply the brakes as well as the brakes. We can say increase the speed of the car or decrease the speed of the car based on the environment conditions. It has to respond. That is the things happen in the reinforcement learning. Clear? Is it clear for you? In self-driving car, generally, it has to interact with the environment, take the environmental data. Based on environmental data, it has to analyze the data and take the decision. Either increase the speed, decrease the speed, apply the brakes, take the left turn or right turn, like this. Okay, it can take the decisions generally. That is the thing happen in the reinforcement learning. Now, simple example, instead of taking self-driving car, this is the thing in the humans life reinforcement learning. So here children, one kid going to the ground for playing. Unfortunately, instead of playing, he was eating the dust from the ground. What happens? The kid don't know it is not a good way to eat the dust. That's why her parent, what he does after identifying the children to eat the dust, the parent can punish the children. The environment give the feedback for the activities he is done. But the activity the children was done, he was eating the dust. It is not good thing. Parent give the permission. Likewise, based on that experience, it can learn new things. If the student can do the good things, the parent can prize, or we can say congratulates. In this situation, it can learn whether what to do, or what not important. That is the thing happening. Clear for you? So Ganesh requesting that. Okay, some of you maybe turn on the webcams. Please switch off your webcams. Okay. Clear for all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many
Are
times
these
we learn
captures
till now?
unsupervised learning or something?
You're asking something?
You know captures, right? When we log into some page, we'll see captures. Are they
Yes.
part of unsupervised learning or something?
So generally captures means instead of it cannot newly create any data. Actually, internally there are some team which can provide you the captures and label the exact data. Okay, it is not going to the unsupervised learning. It is going to the supervised learning only. Why? Because they have to provide the labels.
Means all these captures are worked under many bots now. Means one person cannot deal with these many captures. Like millions of people log in daily.
Yes, there are different types of captures are there. If you take the different website, they can provide their own captures actually. Okay, there is no specific way we can say. For example, Google use one type of captures.
Yes, sir. If you can create your own capture, but is there something like they create some bots like machines and they create some captures and they provide
Okay,
us?
generally chart. You are saying that chatbot we can say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Chatbots related to the machine learning actually. Okay, we can train the machine with this previous questions and answers we can provide.
Yes, sir.
I listen that you are saying about the capturing.
The captures and chart box, all this comes under same thing. Yeah, correct, sir.
Yes, machine learning and somewhat of the artificial intelligence also. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why? Because based on the previous experience, it can learn and provide you the best output, we can say. Now, coming to the algorithms in the machine learning. Okay. So in machine learning, this we just discussed the different types of the machine learning. One is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement. Again, supervised learning categorized into two types: classification, regression. Again, unsupervised, we can say clustering and dimensionality. For this purpose, there are different types of machine learning algorithms are there. You can explore from this link and post it in the chat box. For example, if you see my screen, maybe it is not visible, but the image is very large. Okay. For the classification, there are different types of algorithms available: support vector machines, k-means, SGD, linear regression, linear support vector machines. For regression, likewise, there are different types of algorithms available. If you want to look at the map of these algorithms, I'm posted in the chart box. You can access there. I will show you what are the algorithms we will discuss in this entire 9-day session. Okay. So in this entire 9-day session, generally we discuss linear regression, non-linear regression, that is with the polynomial features, k-nearest neighbors algorithm, logistic regression, decision tree, k-means, principal components. Instead of these 7, we are included the 2 more algorithms also. We can update the PPT. Okay. We discuss in this entire session linear regression, non-linear regression, k-nearest neighbors regression, logistic regression, decision tree, k-means, clustering, principal component analysis. These are the different types of algorithms for the different types of problems. These are the algorithms we will discuss in this entire session. Okay. Now coming to the next one, applications of ML, whereby you can use the machine learning generally in real world examples. For this purpose, I will show you one picture from the website, which is from the Google. Actually, I'm taking. So if you take the previous someone asking about the applications also, application of machine learning generally in everyday examples, we can say that is we have to identify the first thing we have to identify online fraud detection. Okay. For example, you are using the Google Mail. In this Google Mail, generally there is some classification for your mails also. One is important mails, unimportant mails, updates, spam mails, and trash. Okay. Here spam is the one category provided by the Google. What happens there? Whatever the unnecessary emails are you are getting, that emails going to the spam. Internally, it can identify it is not important, as well as that there may be chance of the hacking or something else. For this purpose, generally, it is the application of the online fraud detection. It may be emails, it may be digital transaction, it may be related to the banking. Okay, that is the one real-time example. In medical diagnosis, also machine learning also using. So, for example, recently all of you affected with the COVID-19, they are using this machine learning to try to figure out what happens by using the machine learning. That is the medical diagnosis. We can use the breast cancer dataset for our session also. You can check there. That is the medical diagnosis. We are using machine learning. Now, automatic language translation. So generally, it happens in the, with the Google translators generally. Automatic language translation. Image recognition. If you see the post of the Facebook, it can tag the related friends. Okay, it can directly predict the who is the person in the image. So this machine learning also used in image recognition, also speech recognition, as well as the traffic prediction, product recommendations. I think all of you experienced the Flipkart, Amazon. There it can use the machine learning to give the recommendations of the products with the past experience. Okay, not only product recommendations, we are using the YouTube. All of you using the YouTube also. In the YouTube also, it will provide you the recommendation for the videos based on our past history. Same thing will be used in YouTube for the machine by using the machine learning. self-driving cars, and email spam detection. These are the different types of applications we are using day by day. Okay. So all of you know an example is the YouTube. They can provide the recommendation videos based on the past experience. All of you clear now? Applications of machine learning. Tejaswani asking that they are just sharing pictures. So okay, I will provide whatever the resources we will use. We will update in the GitHub end of the day. Okay, end of the day we will provide all the resources in the GitHub link. Okay, all of you say the GitHub link. Previously I posted it in the chat box. If you don't save that link, I'm posted it again in the chat box. You can access there. Okay. These are the different types of applications of machine learning. Now coming to the problem solving using machine learning. How to solve the problem in machine learning? What are the steps required for this? Okay. So generally, if you want to solve the problem in machine learning, we have to follow 5 steps. This is not mandatory steps. These are the basic understandable steps to all the students. So what are the 5 steps? If you want to solve the one problem in machine learning, you have to get the data to solve the problem. For example, I want to predict the future profit of the Reliance Industries. Okay, I want to predict the future sales of the Reliance Industries with the Jio's customers. Based on the Jio subscribers, I want to predict future sales. What is the thing I have to do? I have to gather the data of the Reliance Industries from the past data. What is the past data? In the previous year, how many customers for the Jio? What is the revenue in that year? I can gather the entire data required to solve the problem. That is the first step we have to do. Okay. That is the first step we have to do. We have to gather the data. Muhammad asking, where is the PPT? PPT I have not updated. End of the session, I will update. Okay, whatever the resources we will use today, I will update end of the day. Now, the second step we have to do, we have to clean, prepare or manipulate the data. So clean, prepare, manipulate means you are gathering the data. There is a chance of by mistakenly you are given invalid data. You have to clean the data whether it is valid or not. Okay, you have to verify is there any missing values, is there any invalid values, is there any unknown values. You can do in the second step. Is it clear? For the second step, we just verify whether the gathered data is correct or not, revalid. For example, I taken the past history of the patient data. In the patient temperature column, I got the 1000 degrees. Is it possible to get the 1000 degrees for the patient? Anyone tell me? Or post it in the chat box. Is it possible?
No, sir. No, sir.
It is not possible. Generally, patient temperature will be between the 1 to 105 degrees like that. But 1000 degrees is impossible. We have to verify. Is there any invalid values? Is there any missing values? We have to do in the second step. That is the cleaning process. That is the second step we have to do. The third step we have to do with this data, we have to, based on the target we have to predict, we have to select the model, that is algorithm we have to select. So what algorithm we have to select? Previously we categorized the learning, classification, regression, clustering, dimensionality reduction. Based on the class, if you are selecting the classification problem, you have to select the classification related algorithms. If you are solving the problem of regression, you have to select the regression related algorithms. If you are selecting like different things, we have to select the different types of algorithms for your problem. After selecting the model, that is the algorithm, you have to train the algorithm with the data, clean data. That is the third step you have to do. We have to train the model. In previous example, we train the children, we train the student. Likewise, here we train the algorithm or machine. Okay. The fourth step we have to do, after training the model, we have to verify whether the model is accurately giving the results or not. That is the thing happen in the testing. Okay. If you see the previous pictures of this real-time general simple examples, we not only train the student, we just verified the performance of the student by providing the different types of inputs. Likewise, same thing will be happen in machine learning in the step 4, that is test the model, that is test data. That is the 4th step. In 5th steps, you got some for example, we train the student after training, if we test the student got a 35% accuracy or 35% marks. We can verify whether the marks are better or not. If marks are not satisfiable, we can improve the model by changing the way of learning or way of giving the input, and all those things we can apply. That is the 5th step we have to do. What is the 5th step? We have to improve the model. These are the basic 5 steps we have to do in this machine learning. I just re-explain again. In first step, we have to gather the data for solving the required problem. In second step, we have to clean the data or prepare the data, manipulate the entire data, which is valid or not, we have to verify. We can say that is the second step is the pre-processing. In technical point of view, you can say pre-processing. The third step, we have to select the model or algorithm. After that, we have to train the model. After training, we have to test the model. That is the 4th step. After testing, it will provide the statistics, or we can say performance. If the performance is not satisfiable, we can repeat the process to improve the model. For improving the model, there are different techniques available. We will discuss one by one. These are the basic 5 steps to solve the problem in machine learning. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay.
It's clear, sir.
Now we just completed the introduction of machine learning. Now we can practice by doing. Okay. Before directly going to the practice, there are some requirements to do the machine learning. What are the requirements? What to do? I will tell you all those things. Okay. For this purpose, all of you install the software which is Anaconda software. All of you aware of the Anaconda software or not? If you respond based on that, I can proceed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Working with the machine learning, all of you should install Anaconda software. All of you installed or not?
Sir, installed, sir.
Yes, sir. Installed, sir.
Install. What about remaining?
Sir, yes, sir. Install, sir.
But don't have software. Tejaswini is saying that don't have software. I will
Not
provide
yet
the link.
installed.
Okay. So anaconda.com is the website. I just posted in the chat box. Those who are not installed the software, please download and install. If you are comfortable with the different IDLEs, you can use. But for this workshop, Anaconda software is the mandatory. Mandatory means whatever I am doing in Anaconda, you can also do parallelly. Okay. Otherwise, some technical differences are there. Okay. I posted the Anaconda link to download the Anaconda software. So all of you aware of the installation of Anaconda? Anyone don't know? I will tell you. Yes, you can use Jupyter Lab. So I will tell you the instructions to install the Anaconda software. First of all, you have to go to the official website from the anaconda.com. There you have to select the individual edition. Okay. After going to the individual edition, it will provide the different options for you. So make sure to you are downloading the Python 3.7 version. Okay, Python 3.7. Here, 3 different types of Python 3.7 available. One is for Windows, another one is the Linux, another one is the Mac OS. Based on the OS you are using, you have to select the option. Either you can use 64-bit or 32-bit based on your system type. You have to select. Okay. All of you please use the Python 3.7 related. Narendra asking some doubts. Whatever the doubts, I will clarify about that in the end of the session, not middle of the session. Okay. Now, after downloading the software, you have to open the software. If you run the software, it will provide you the option to click on the next button. So please click the next button. It will ask you again, if you click on the next button, it will ask you for the license agreement. You have to accept to use this software. It is mandatory. So that's why you are clicking on the I agree button. The next step we have to choose either just me or you can select all users. So it is recommended way to use the just me. After selecting the just me, click the next button. Again, it will ask you for the path. No need to change any path location. Make it as the default. Whatever the path you are getting, just click next button. And make sure the memory space required for this software is 2.5 GB. Please verify how much space is required, all those things. You have to click on the next. The next step you have to do, you have to select the two options. Better to use the recommended option. Second option is the recommended, that is register Anaconda as my default Python 3.6. Okay. After click on this next button, install button, you have to go to the next one. It will take some time. It will take around 15 to 20 minutes based on your system speed. After completing, you will get the messages setup was completed successfully. Click the next button. After clicking on the next button, it will ask you for the install Microsoft Visual Code. It is not mandatory to use the Microsoft Visual Code. So you may skip the option by clicking on the skip button. The last step you have to do, finish. Once you finish the installation process successfully, we have to open the Anaconda software. In that Anaconda software, we use the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, we have to use the Jupyter Notebook. So please confirm all of you have the Jupyter Notebook with you. Anyone has not installed? Post it in the chat box. If you are not completed, I will wait for 5 more minutes.
Jupyter is not paid, not installed, sir.
Jupyter Notebook. It is the Jupyter Notebook. If you install the Anaconda software, there are different options available for you. Anaconda Navigator, prompt.
Yes, sir.
Likewise, you have a option Jupyter Notebook. Re-verify, all of you install the Jupyter Notebook. Can we practice in Ideally? It is not the good way for machine learning to use the Ideally. Okay, better to use Anaconda. Okay. It is possible to use Ideally, but it is better to use Anaconda for machine learning. Okay, all of you start the Jupyter Notebook. So how to start this Jupyter Notebook? If you want to start this Jupyter Notebook, after click on the start button in your system, click on start button, go to all programs. In this all programs in alphabetical order, you can access the Anaconda 3. In Anaconda 3, you have an option. If you click on this Anaconda 3, you have an option Jupyter Notebook. Click on this Jupyter Notebook. So all of you open the Jupyter Notebook. If you click on the Jupyter Notebook, it will provide you the one command prompt, which is actually it is the server internally it will run actually. Minimize this server. It can open the browser automatically with the default location you are provided. Okay, with the default location, it will open the browser. Just minimize the command prompt which you are getting. don't close this command prompt. If you close this command prompt means you are closing the Jupyter Notebook server. Okay. Now, if you open the Jupyter Notebook in browser, you will get the root directory with the folders which are located in the home directory. So all of you move to the desktop location by clicking on the option desktop. Click the desktop option. It will open the desktop. In this desktop, create one folder for the understandable purpose for you. Create the folder by renaming the folder. It as the 24 August 2020, or you can say ML. You can give any name for you or required for you. I am giving the folder name as the 24 August 2020 ML. Okay. After that, you have
How
to open
create
the
new
folder.
one, sir?
Okay. Those who don't know about Jupyter Notebook can run. I will tell you.
I,
So first of all,
I know, sir.
okay, I will tell you. Go to the desktop. Right side there is a option new. Right side there is a option new. Again there is another option that is folder. If you click on that folder, directly it will provide you one untitled folder. The folder which is the default name is the untitled or untitled 1, 2, 3. It may be add. After that, rename. To rename the any file or folder, click on the checkbox related you want to rename. After clicking on the checkbox, in top of the menu you have the option rename. Rename, for example, ML workshop. Okay, you have to select the rename option to rename the folder. So previously it is the untitled folder. Now it is the ML workshop. After creating the folder, move to the folder, clicking on the folder. So all of you done till now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Now, in right side, if you want to working with the general machine learning, we have to do programming in the Python. For working with the Python in this Anaconda environment, you have to click the new option. There is a option Python 3.
Sir, how will you
Click the
open the
Python 3.
workshop?
What you are saying?
The folder is not opening, sir.
The folder, are you created folder successfully? First of all, are you created the folder?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, created, sir.
Okay, after it creates, for example, I just created the ML workshop. What you have to do? You have to click on the name. For example, this is the name ML workshop. Click on that name. So you are installed Anaconda software, but there is no Jupyter Notebook.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Sudhakar saying that installed Anaconda software. Okay, but there is no Jupyter Notebook. Just verify, re-verify once. Click on the Anaconda 3. In that there is an option you have to see, that is Jupyter Notebook. Verify. Sudhakar, re-verify. Go to the start, all programs, Anaconda 3, Jupyter Notebook. If you are not getting this option means you are missing some modules, means you have to reinstall the software if you are not getting.
After opening the folder, what can I do, sir?
Okay. So after redirect into the home ML workshop directory, if you click on the new, click the select the Python 3. It will provide one notebook file Python. The extension for the notebook Python is the .ipynb. The default name is the untitled. Okay. Create the new Python 3. It will provide you one notebook file. The file extension default is the IPYNB. So IPYNB means Interactive Python Notebooks. Interactive Python Notebook. The extension for this Jupyter Notebook file. It will open in the browser. Okay. So instead of using ML workshop, I'm using another folder, that is 24 August for my convenient purpose. So all of you done till now? Shall we proceed or wait?
Completed, sir.
Proceed, sir.
So Harshvardhan completed. Kartikeya Raju completed. Continue. Okay. So how many of you aware of the Jupyter Notebook structure? Structure means Markdown syntax, we can say. How many of you aware of Markdown syntax? If you don't know, I will tell you. If you know, I will proceed.
I don't know, sir.
Okay, Markdown syntax, one person don't know.
We don't know anything regarding to the Anaconda software, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what is the purpose of this notebook instead of using the IDLE? I will tell you. So the main difference between general Python IDLE and this Python notebook, that is Jupyter Notebook. In Python IDLE, we can do only Python related program. But in Jupyter Notebook, we can write Python related program as well as we can do the documentation, or we can say presentation. Okay. We can do two things importantly. One is we can do Python program. Another one is we can implement the documentation to readable purpose. Okay, that is the two advantages in this notebook. So for this purpose, there are mainly two modes available. One mode is the code mode. Second mode is the markdown mode. First one is the code. Second one is the markdown. If you see the after creating this notebook file, I think all of you get the one editable cell. Okay. By default, this cell is the code mode cell. How to know this cell is the code mode or not? You can verify there is a value here. It is looking, that is the drop down value. Here you are getting code, means this cell is in the code, or you can by observing this symbol, if you are getting in square bracket open close, means you are in the code mode. Okay, what is the purpose of this code mode? So the purpose of this code mode to write the Python related program. Anyone has any doubts? Irfan or something name. If you don't have any doubts, please switch off, mute yourself.
No, sir.
Generally, the code mode. Okay. The code mode purpose is you have to write the Python related code. The second option, that is, if you click on this option, there is second option, that is markdown. Okay. The purpose of this markdown to implement the documentation. The purpose of code mode for writing the Python code, markdown for writing the documentation. So I suggest all of you change the code mode to markdown by clicking on the option markdown. All of you click the markdown option. If you after clicking on this markdown option, the in option and square brackets are removed. That is the markdown option. I will tell you the syntaxes for the markdown. Okay. First of all of you change the cell into the markdown and type what I am typing. Hash. Okay. Single hash space title. Enter. Double hash space. Instead of title, we can say heading. Double hash space heading 2. Triple hash space heading 3. All of you do this thing in the markdown cell only. Okay, make sure this option will be markdown. I'm giving the syntax for the markdown. Okay. Markdown syntax for documentation. 5 hashes space heading 4. So 3 hashes is just given. 4 hashes. 5 hashes heading 5. 6 hashes heading 6. Okay. All of you enter as it is what I am typing. Hash space, any message you can give. After hash, you have to provide one space. After that, you can provide any message. Okay. After the entering, I am using double hashes. After triple hashes, this is the markdown syntax to get the different types of heading. If you observe here, if I use the single hash, the font size was very high compared to the 6 hashes. What happens here, by this markdown syntax, you can use the different types of headings for your documentation. After typing, whatever you are typing, you have to apply the changes. There is an option here, option button here, that is run option. Click on the button run. You will get the different outputs. This is the markdown syntax to write the documentation. What is the documentation I have done here? I just applied the different types of headings in the markdown syntax. The markdown syntax for the headings, you have to provide a single hash space your title.
Sir,
Whatever
I'm
you are
not
typing,
getting
you have to provide.
like what you are showing, sir.
Okay. You are not getting means just respond according to that. If you click on the cell, after that, is it marked down or not? Is the cell in markdown or not?
Markdown.
Sir. Not done.
Marked down. Okay. Whatever the cell you are getting in the green color, after that there is an option listen. Mute yourself. Okay, after editing, you are in the edit mode of this cell. You have to click on the run button. Just click on the run button. You will get the output. Clear?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir, not at coming, sir.
Those who are not coming, please post it in the chat box. I will help you in chat box.
Beside these statements, there is some pi symbol is coming, sir. What is that?
So some symbol is coming means this cell is the empty cell. I think you are getting like this. Okay.
Not that, sir.
If you are getting like this means
heading, not that, sir. Once move your cursor to heading 2. Here that.
Oscar. Yes.
No, after running, sir. After running.
Here you have after running.
Just
here
run
instruction
your,
is you have, yes, I will show you. Wait. Here instruction mandatory syntax is hash. You have to use a double hash. After that, you have to provide space. And there is the option run the cell. Click on the run button.
Now go to heading 2, sir. Means move your mouse to
Yes. Heading. Now previously.
Sir. No, not now, sir. After running only.
Okay.
Don't come back. Yeah, that pi symbol.
Okay.
Something is fluctuating.
Actually it is the this is my screen is sharing, that's why I'm getting like this. This is the option here like this. Okay.
For us also
but actually just Jupyter showing your interactive. Likewise, where is your mouse you are selecting like that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Now it is clear, sir. I made a mistake. After the hash, I cannot give any space, so I'm not getting the outputs.
Okay. Now you are getting?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is clear, sir.
Okay. Okay. Please make sure this is the markdown syntax. After hash symbol, you have to provide space. Double hashes, there is no space. After combination of hashes, you have to provide the space. This is the one syntax to get the different types of headings. Okay. I'm just renaming the this Jupyter Notebook file name. If you want to rename the Jupyter Notebook file name, here it is untitled. Click on that. It will provide the edit for rename. I am giving day 1. So instead of day 1, I'm giving directly date 14 August 2020. 1 underscore 14 August 2020 is my today's date. This is the first file in the date of 24 August. If you want to rename, click on that. After entering the name you are giving, just enter. Now coming to the second syntax for the markdown. Now I think all of you get the next cell. All of you created new cell by defaultly if you run the option. By default it is the code cell. Change the code cell into markdown. Again change the code cell into markdown. So change the code cell into markdown. I'm giving the next syntax for the markdown. So I'm not giving any shortcuts. I will tell you shortcuts also, don't worry. Double star. So not double star directly. Machine double star. Learning double star. Machine learning using Python. Here the syntax, the next syntax you have to learn double star. Okay, double star. The text you have to highlight. After that you have to provide the closing double star. What it means? It just highlight the middle of the text between the double star. You don't have to give any spaces between the double star. Just enter. What happens in this situation? Instead of highlighting the entire text, it just highlight only text you are given in the double star. Okay. Clear. Now I'm making one heading. Jupyter Notebook shortcuts. All of you make one heading by using the hash symbol in the markdown cell. Yes, there are different styles for markdown. We just we are not discussing entirely about the markdown. Whatever the markdown styles are required for our workshop only, then only I will discuss. Okay. I will give the reference for the markdown syntax if you want to learn more things about markdown.
Is there any markdown list we can get it from online, or how it is?
Yes, I will provide the link now. GitHub markdown. You can just Google. I will just post it in the chat box also. Markdown syntax. I'm posting the chat link in the chat box. You can access there. There are different syntaxes available. For example, hashes for headings. There are different italic symbols, single star, underscore, triple star, double star, ordered list, unordered list. There are different types of syntaxes available. You can just look at it for learning purpose. But our motto, main aim is to learn the machine learning, not the markdown syntax. But for documentation purpose, whatever the requirement, I will just discuss here. Okay. Now we will discuss the shortcuts for our notebook. The first shortcut is Shift Enter. Shift Enter to run the current cell. The first shortcut is you have to press the shift enter to execute the current cell. Okay, for example, I am in this cell, I have to execute this cell. Generally we can click on the run button. Every time clicking on the run button it is difficult, that's why there is some shortcuts available for this. To run this cell, there is an option, that is, what is the option? Shift enter. You have to press shift button as well as enter button. It just execute the cell. Just apply. Okay. The first shortcut is the shift enter to run the cell. Now coming to the next shortcut, that is escape M to change cell into markdown cell. Escape M is the shortcut. For example, I want to change the current cell into markdown. Previously what I done, I just click on the option which is available in the drop down, selected the markdown to change into the markdown. It is very difficult every time moving to the option. So the shortcut here is you have to press the escape button. After that you have to click on the M button. In this situation, your cell will be whatever the cell it is option, it is directly converted into markdown. If you see the example here, currently it is the code mode. If you see here option code, I am not moving my cursor here. My cursor at here. What is the shortcut I am provided to change the markdown? Escape M. Change it to the markdown. If you observe here, it is changed to markdown. So please practice these shortcuts. First one is shift enter, second one escape M to change any cell into markdown cell. Likewise reverse. If you want to do another shortcut, escape button Y to change any cell into code cell. The next shortcut is the escape Y. If you want to change into the markdown cell, we use escape M. If you want to change to the code cell, we use escape Y. Okay. For example, I'm present my cursor, my cell is the code cell. If I press escape M, now it is going to markdown. If you observe, if I again apply escape Y, now it is going to code cell. That is the third shortcuts you have to learn. Are you following? Clear for all of you?
Yes, sir.
So Kartik, you are asking one doubt. I will tell you
Yes,
one by
sir.
one. Please
Yes,
wait.
sir.
Coming to the next one. Escape A to create new cell above the current cell. To create new cell above the current cell. Escape A. For example, my cursor here. I want to create new cell above my current cell. Current cell is at the escape Y. I want to create above the current cell. What is the shortcut? Escape A. What happens? It was created new cell. If I press escape A again, it was creating. Okay. So the option here to create the new cell above the current cell, that is escape A. Now, if you want to create new cell below the current cell, escape B. To create new cell below the current cell. Escape B. For example, Here is my cursor. Here is my cursor. I want to create new cell below the shortcut. What is the shortcut? Escape D. Created the new cell below my current cell. All of you clear?
Sir, hello, sir. One doubt, sir.
Tell me.
Shift plus enter అంటే న్యూ సెల్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం కదండి సార్, అంటే కంట్రోల్ ప్లస్ ఎంటర్ కదండి సార్ టు రన్ ద కోడ్.
Actually, it can do two things. Shift plus enter means actually it can run the current cell as well as if there is no cells below, create. Okay, whenever you are applying the shift enter, it can run the cell. If there is no cells in below, it can create new cell also. Two things happens here.
ఓకే ఓకే సార్.
Okay, you can use whatever the shortcut you are flexible.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay. Now coming to the next. The next shortcut is the escape D and D. You have to press the character D 2 times. The purpose of this shortcut is to delete the current cell. That is escape DD. Okay. So what are the shortcuts? Till now we discussed shift enter to run the cell, escape M to interchange from any cell to markdown cell, escape Y to change any cell into code cell, escape A to create new cell above the current cell, escape B to create new cell below the current cell, escape DD to delete the current cell. Escape H means generally it is the help. Escape H help window it will provide. You can explore about the markdown. Sorry, not. You can explore markdown syntax also. You can get more things there. But these are the sufficient shortcuts for our entire Jupyter notebook. Okay, generally what we done, we just create the new cells above, below. After that, we just remove the cell for deleting, escape DD. We just interchange the cells. Sorry, markdown cell or code cell. We just interchange. These are the most helpful shortcuts. Now, if you want to add the links in the markdown, to add links in the markdown, to add the links in the markdown, first of all, we have to change the cell into the markdown. The syntax for adding the links is square bracket open close, parenthesis open close. In square brackets, you have to provide the option. For example, Gmail. In parentheses, you have to provide the link https://www.google.com. Instead of Gmail, I'm giving Google. I'm just executing. So the syntax for adding the links, the syntax here is square bracket open close. In between these square brackets, you have to provide the text which is visible to user. The Google value is visible to the user. Behind the visible text, there is a link behind there. The link will be in between the parentheses. Okay, I'm just given the Google. After that, we have to execute. For execution, shift enter. What happens here? It was providing link. It is the link actually. If you click on that link, it will open the Google website. You can include the links also in Jupyter notebook markdown syntax. Is it clear for you? Yes. Now we can include the images also. We can include the images from the website. For this purpose, we can verify what is the exact syntax. Okay. Image. For images, they are providing this syntax. Okay. What is the syntax actually? Not symbol, square bracket, previous syntax exactly, but you have to specify not symbol. Okay. Exclamatory mark. In that, you have to provide the actual text. You have to provide the image location. Here, image location you have to take from the website. Okay. For this purpose, I'm taking just dummy image from the Google. I'm just going to the Python official website. Okay. I'll show you the images how to place. This is the actual image. I'm taking the image address. I'm copying the image link. Copy image address. I'm taking the Python logo image and paste it in the analysis. Now wait. Likewise, you can display the images also in Jupyter Notebook. The syntax here, same syntax. The difference here is you have to specify the exclamatory mark, that is not symbol, we can say. So here only valid images will be placed. So this is actual text displayed to the user. My image, whatever you can give anything. Okay. You can give in this square brackets, you can give whatever the text message which is displayed to the user. My image. But actually when it displays, if the link which is given in the link, if the link was failed to display the image, in this situation only the name will be displayed. What is the name? My image. For example, this is the actual working image. I'm changing this working image to some dummy values. This link is not properly correct. In this situation, what is the alternate name? That is my image. Those who know about the HTML, in HTML, there is an alternate attribute there. Likewise, it would work. If the given provided link was invalid, in this situation, this text will be displayed. Okay. Yes. Now, coming to the next one. Ordered list. So if you want to create the ordered list, generally you have to provide the numbers directly. So one dot, for example, item 1, 2 dot, item 2. So instead of item 1, I am taking Samsung Redmi. Okay. How many items I am provided? 2 items. What are these items? It is the ordered items, means we are providing the numbers. First item, second item, likewise. So if you want to provide the ordered item, generally we can use 1 dot, 2 dot like this. If you want to place unordered items, okay, if you want to place unordered items, use star symbol, star, item, star, item 2, star space, item 3. Just verify. Okay. Murthy saying that adding links once, tell me, sir. Okay. So for Google, the syntax for using this link, you have to use square bracket open. After that, square bracket close. In between the square brackets, you have to provide name, only text. You are looking underscore. Actually, it is showing line, but actually it cannot contain any lines. You have to provide only text. Square bracket open, text, square bracket close, parenthesis open. You have to provide the link here. Here I'm giving the Google link. You have to close the parenthesis. Here only syntax is In between square brackets, you have to provide text. In between parentheses, you have to provide link. That is the syntax here. Both clear? Yes. So for ordered list, generally we represent the number format. So logo actually I'm taken from a website generally. I just go to the Python official website, that is python.org. I'm just copied the link from the website by right click on copy image address. I just taken one dummy image. Okay. Same syntax previously, just in place of this you have to add not symbol. Okay. Clear for you? The main difference between link and image, here just added the not symbol. Okay. So coming to the ordered list, generally we represent directly 1 dot 2 dot like this. In unordered list we represent star space. Okay. I'm providing star space item 1, star space item 2, star space item 3. But on unordered list we are getting the dot symbol. Okay. Bullet points. It just converted into bullet points, that is unordered items. Whenever you require the unordered items, likewise we use this syntax. All of you clear till now? Anyone has any doubts? Mera clear? Sayed clear?
Sir, for unordered
Murthy
list,
clear?
star is not coming, sir.
For unordered list, star is not coming. Actually, it cannot provide star, it can provide bullet points. You have to use star space.
If I'm providing star, it is showing dot, not dots, numbers.
Not dot numbers. Okay. Okay, whatever the code in your cell, just copy, post it in the chat box. I will verify. Just Control A, copy, post it in the chat box. I will verify what is the, where is the you are doing mistake. Okay. Got it. Okay. Just verify you are giving correctly or not. You are not given one line gap between. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the next one. So these are the basic important shortcuts in this markdown syntax on the Jupyter notebook. Now we will work with the simple data set. Okay, manual data set. We just pre-process generally. Okay, for this purpose. So all of you move to the location, your current directory in the Jupyter notebook. That is your folder. All of you open this tab. That is your desktop. That I think all of you given different names. I'm given 24 August. In this location, create new file. New. There is a option text file. Just a new. Select the option text file. All of you create the new text file in the current location by clicking on the text file option. It will create one empty text file. Please confirm once if you completed.
Sir, tell me once again, sir, please.
Once again, okay. So I think all of you in this location, Jupyter notebook, move to the actual Jupyter notebook menu. In the current directory, this is my current directory. This is my actual working file. That is a Jupyter notebook file. In this location, create new text file. Click on the new option, right side of your menu. There is a option that is text file. Just click on the text file. It will create one empty text file. .txt. The default name for this untitled. Created now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes. It will just create one empty text file. Now click on the name. We just rename the text file. Just click on that. Okay. Now rename the file with diagnosis.csv. I'm just creating one dummy data set to working with the pandas. So rename the file name. The file name should be diagnosis.csv. CSV is the extension for the comma separated values. Okay. This is the one type of file extension to working with the CSVs. Diagnosis.csv. All of you created and renamed the file name. So why should we give that CSV file? So actually the data will be in different type of formats. Either you can give text file, either you can give CSV file, either you can give another files. So generally in most of the times from the website also the files will be available in the CSV file. That's why I'm using CSV. It is not mandatory to give CSV, but for my present situation I'm using CSV. Okay, it is the comma separated value. .csv means the value was separated by comma. I will tell you the example. The different formats are there for CSV and Excel. Now what you have to do, just take the one example and enter the data which I am typing. Okay, name of the patient, fever underscore temperature, enter. Name Sai. Here please re-verify after name and after fever temperature you have to separate these values with comma. Okay, you must should separate with comma, not with space in CSV files generally. I'm just entering the dummy data, just typing in the manual. Okay, for Sai he got 98 degrees temperature, for example. For Ramu I've taken 100 degrees temperature. For Lakshmi I've taken 1000 degrees temperature. Rakesh, comma, I'm missing the value. Okay, Rajesh for 108 degrees, for example. All of you create the data. Okay, you can provide whatever the values, dummy values. I'm just giving dummy values. You can give whatever the dummy values. Better to take example what I'm taking. Okay. What we done? We just entering the dummy data to working with the pandas library. So enter the data, name comma fever is the column. Sai, Ramu, Lakshmi, Rajesh, these are the actual values. Here for Rajesh, I'm missing the value by providing the comma. I'm just missing the temperature related to the fever of Rajesh. After that, here you are not, if you see my screen here, 4 minutes ago, this file was saved. Here you are not get any tick mark. If you are not getting tick mark here means in this file is not saved. This file was saved 5 minutes ago. You have to apply the changes. For this purpose, click on the file. There is a option save. Click the save option. You will get the tick mark. You are getting tick mark means the file was saved successfully. Whatever the data you are entered, it is saved in your file. Please save the file. All of you completed till now? Yes. Now go to the, now move to the notebook file. Current working notebook file, that is 01/24 August 2020. All of you open this notebook file. Don't close these files. Why? Because every time we are using these two files. Every time means today. Okay. Now my requirement is I want to read the diagnosis.csv. That is my requirement. I want to read this diagnosis.csv file. This file I want to read. Okay. For this purpose, make sure you are working with the Python. For the Python, you have to use the code cell. This is my code cell. Okay. So working with the CSVs, there is one important module generally, not only related to the CSV files. There are different files also we can work with. That is pandas library. Okay. Import pandas as PD. Those who don't know about pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, all those things, better to join data analysis workshop. Those who are not experienced about the pandas, NumPy, all those things, better to join the data analysis workshop, which is already running for the APSDC also. Okay. First of all, better to learn pandas, NumPy, all those things in that workshop. After you learn, machine learning is the good thing. Okay. Just I will just give the overview here. Okay. You can re-register again. Okay. You have to re-register instead of joining directly. First of all, you have to re-register the data analysis. Better to come to the machine learning. It is best thing. So for this purpose, we have to import the one module, that is pandas as PD. So to join the data analysis class, whatever the things you are done for the machine learning, you have to register for the data analysis by going to the official website. So engineering.abs is my official website. Here you have your option /register. Here you have to select the programs. For example, Krishna district. For example, some other college, PVP college, some degree. You have to fill the data required for this. Here you have your option computer science. For example, workshops. Here program. If you select the program here, data analysis using Python. Data analysis using Python. You have to select that. Already registrations closed means for this entire week the registrations are closed, but end of the week it will reopen for the next batch. Clear? For this week only they are closing the registrations. Next week also they can continue with the new batch. You just follow the official website for updates. You can join 2 classes, no problem. You have to balance your classes. If it is morning session, afternoon session, no problem. If same session, it is difficult for you. Same timings for both the sessions. So coming to these things actually, so that is you have to import the pandas module. If you want to working with the pandas module, we import pandas. Instead of giving every time as pandas, we can give the alias name PD. So Karthik already responded that he already know about the pandas. So that's why he says that one variable data frame. I'm checking df. Df means generally we can say data frame. Those who are not aware, I'm just typing data frame equals to pd dot read underscore csv. Here you have to provide the file name. Here file name, what is the file name? Diagnosis.csv. I'm just printing data frame. Whatever the values in the data frame. Sorry, double entry. Execute. Whatever the values are there, we are just importing. It is not the keyword, it is the module. Pandas is the module. Okay, those who are not aware, please switch to the data analysis program. You can learn more things there. After that, you need to learn machine learning is the better thing. Because we are not discuss in depth about the pandas. We just work with the pandas directly. Clear? What we done now? We just read the CSV file from the diagnosis.csv. Whatever the values we are contains, we are reading. Now, how many columns available in this data frame? How many columns available? How many in this data frame? So where is the data frame variable available? This entire data will be stored in the data frame variable. So data frame dot columns. How many columns, not rows? Columns are the top one. Rows are the these one. Okay, data frame dot columns. You will get the column names. Two column names are the name and fever temperature. Okay. Have you done till now? What we done? We just imported the CSV file. We just read the CSV file diagnosis.csv and verifying what are the columns. Name, fever is the columns. Now, how many rows or samples in this data frame? DF means data frame. But the variable name is the data frame dot shape. So data frame dot shape means it will provide the number of rows and number of columns. It will provide rows, comma, columns. How many rows available in this data frame? 5 rows. How many columns? 2 rows. So someone saying that file not found. So file not found, you are getting file not found means your working directory. Please make sure this is my current file which is working, IPynb. Make sure this file should be in the same location. My diagnosis.csv file, my notebook file should be in same location. Otherwise, it will give the error as file not found. Are they clear? Re-verify the file you are saving in the same location or not. But what is the doubt? No, actually you have to save. Previously we created the file and saved in this file. Okay. You can give any name, valid Python related name. If the name you are giving is the valid to the Python, it can take. Okay. Can we give any name? Generally, global wise, it is a CSV file. Whenever you use the CSV file in the pandas, we can generally the technical words we can say data frame. Instead of giving data frame completely, we use the shortcut as the DF. Okay, you can give any valid variable name, no problem. The main purpose of reading this file, the main purpose of creating this dummy file is working with the missing values. Where is the missing values available? For the Rajesh, missing value available. Or we can say for the temperature column, one missing value available. That is the purpose of reading this file. So, is there any missing values? Is there any missing values? By visualizing, we can say one missing value. In real time, lakhs of data, billions, lakhs of data may be available, thousands, lakhs like this. It is very difficult to verify individually. First value, second value, is there any missing value or not? Looking by it is difficult. We can apply programmatically, is there any missing values or not? For this purpose, data frame dot isNA is the function dot. Can you please sum the missing values? Okay, now observe. So I just use the data frame dot isNA dot sum. For the name column 0 means for the name column there is no missing values. For the fever column favor temperature, sorry, favor column, we have one missing value. It was providing some information. For favor column, there is a value missing.
All the keywords are case sensitive. I mean, print everything.
Everything will be case sensitive in Python. All the syntax we are entering is the Python code. The Python code is like case sensitive. If it is a capital letter, you have to use capital. If it is small, you have to use small. Full form of is and a. So is there any NaN values? NaN means not a number. We can say missing values generally. Okay. Is NA means is there any missing values? NaN values. Why we are summing? Okay. So why we are summing? You have to understand first of all what is the output. Is NA output? It will provide you the true or false. For the first row, false. For the second row, all are false. Third row, all are false. Fourth row, one is false, other one is true. Means wherever the missing value contains, it will become the true. For this row, this favor temperature, this is the true. Okay. If you apply the dot sum with this result, it will add all the values in the each column. For the name column, how many false values are available? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Can anyone tell me false plus false? What is the result? In Python, it is 0. Sum means generally we can say addition. Sum means addition of values. Whenever you apply the sum, false plus false plus false plus false, all values are false means final output is the 0. For name column, 0 false. Okay. If you sum these values, false plus false 0, false plus false 0, false plus true 1, 1 plus 0, 0 again. Sorry, 1 plus 0, 1. That is the output. What happens? Column wise missing values count. Again, another column wise missing value count it was providing. That is the thing happened here. For name column, there is no missing values. 0 means there is no missing values. For the favor column, one missing value. So those who don't know about this pandas module, all those things, better to join the data analysis program. Okay. Because we just use the pandas module. If you want more clarity about pandas module, better to take that workshop. Okay. So that's it for today. We will discuss the. If you have any doubts, ask now. I will give you the other details for tomorrow. If you have any doubts in this class, you can let me know.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Tell me. No, don't. Please wait.
Is there any group, sir?
Okay, I will tell you all those things. There is no specific group. You have only mail communication. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Whatever the resources we will provide in the GitHub link. Okay. Whatever the resources we will provide, it is provided in the chat box. Please don't exit. Wait a second.
Sir, could you please share that recording, sir?
Whatever the resources we will provide in this link, don't worry. Recorded sessions also will update in the GitHub link.
Okay, sir.